Is the government of the day still committed to protecting Nigerians from banditry and terrorism? How can those in power maintain a judicious balance between providing services to the people and preparing for the 2023 general elections? To help us unpack the issues involved here, we are now being joined from our Abuja studios by IKENGA UGOCHINYERE, a lawyer, human rights activist, and spokesman of the Coalition of United Political Parties. Welcome to the program. Good morning, IKENGA.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for inviting me.
All right, good to have you. Well, let's get straight into it. Our country is challenged, but you can hear what the Honorable Minister for Information, said few days to the terrorist attack in Kaduna. He said that Nigerians were able to travel free by using the train, but it turns out that Kaduna again has witnessed an horrendous attack by terrorists. Where are we, and where do we go from here?
I think that each time we have serious national challenge and serious security challenge in the last 7 years, the information minister always liked to politicize the issue instead of looking at the basic issue here, which is that under Section 14 of the Constitution, the primary responsibility of government is the protection of lives and property, and that any government that cannot do this basic responsibility have no reason being in power. And talking about accounting for 16 years rule of the PDP at a time of national emergency of this nature, where bandits and terrorists is boldly taking parts of the country, is very unfortunate coming from the information minister, because there is actually no 16 years to account for here, because all the major actors who were part of the 16 years he's talking about is with him right there in APC. The governor of Katsina, Masari, is speaker under PDP. The governor of Kano State was from PDP. The minister of labor, Ngige, was part of that PDP 16 years he's talking about. The man they made the national secretary, Senator Yola Mishere, is part of that 16 years he's talking about. The man that is in charge of transport ministry, Rotimi Amechi, is part of the 16 years he's talking about. So if you look at the people that are currently running the country, they were part of the 16 years. So they should stop talking about 16 years, because they are with the people who ran that 16 years. Then they should go and ask their members what actually happened in that 16 years. But coming to the issue that we are facing, I think we should stay politics away from these issues, because lives are being lost. You can't have a country where over 60, 50, 100 armed men can mobilize themselves, walk on the street, bomb a train station, take out people, and then take them into the bush. And we are talking about this is the handwork of opposition. If it is the handwork of opposition, in that case, you know the people who are behind it. Then what you would have done as a responsible government is to go after those people who are behind it, whether they are in opposition, whether they are in ruling government, and then arrest them. And it's unfortunate that he's not even listening to the statement of his partymen. Like the governor of Kaduna State said that the situation has actually gone out of hand, and he's thinking of hiring machineries, which is a contentious statement that most people are saying. How are you going to hire machineries who will account for them when they come into the country? And what if they join the already bad situations we are facing? So you should understand the fact that what we should be looking at is how do we find solution, because we are heading to 2023 when politicians are going to get more desperate. Some are going to take the path of hiring a militia group and so on and so forth. So if you have a country that is being overwhelmed by activities of non-state actors that are armed, then you're going to have an election that is going to be very bloody. And to avoid that, government has to go back to the drawing board and find out what is actually wrong with our security apparatus, why they have been unable to gather the necessary intelligence to be able to rein in this bandit, because the activities of this bandit is getting very audacious every day. You can see what they did during the train attack. The people that were there said they were in large number, and most of them are not even Nigerians. So whether they are Nigerians, whether they are foreign, the point is that when they took these people, they moved back to the forest in Kaduna. And if you look at Kaduna, it's close to Niger, it's close to Kano and so on. So these people are somewhere around this forest. All you need to do is to mobilize our security forces from all angles. Consider it as a matter of state emergency. Consider it a matter of state urgent national importance. Mobilize every available resources to have A, land, C. The same way the president uses that energy when it has to do with issues of separatist group, use those particular energy. I can tell you that there's no way we can live in the country, and now our security agencies are getting scared of bandits who attack them at checkpoints and kill them. Let it be considered as a matter of urgent national importance. Mobilize our servicemen from all angles and storm that forest, from A, from land, from sea. And I can tell you that we'll find a way to liberate those forests and then be able to deal with this. And if we don't deal with these issues, I'm telling you that our nation is going to completely collapse.
Well, audacious was the word you just used to describe the spate of terrorist attack in Nigeria, which has increased, particularly in Kaduna State. Within the past month, over 300 Nigerians, civilians and military, have been injured or killed by these terrorists. So much so, like you have just mentioned, the governor is considering hiring foreign mercenaries to help tackle insecurity. Well, last week, a lawmaker from Kano State, Al-Hassan Ado Doguwa, during plenary, described the security architecture as monumental, as a monumental failure, and called for Nigerians to be allowed to take up arms. What do you make of that?
And also, it's also part of the play into the political gallery I'm talking about. Hassan is one of the leaders in the parliament. He has been there. He has approved all the budgetary allocations of the government and the security agencies, and they know who to blame. When you talk about, transferring the responsibility back to the citizens, you are just playing to the guy. You don't want to tell Buhari the real truth. You should talk to the president that, first of all, as commander-in-chief of the armed forces, you have a constitutional responsibility under Section 14 to protect lives and property. Have the president expressed the capacity, or have the president said that, okay, I cannot do this job, citizens help me? And then citizens will say, okay, if we are going to help you, you don't need to be sitting right there as president. Then we need a new president to be able to help us, lead us to the battle. But the key thing here is that APC members do not want to come together and leave politics aside, call their president to order to say, Oga, what is the problem? If it is your service chiefs, if it is about financing, tell us so we can find a way to provide you the needed logistics. There is no way citizens can be called to take up arms to protect the state and protect themselves. It's going to lead to anarchy. If you do that, you're going to worsen the already bad situation. I still put the blame on the doorstep of the leadership that we currently have today. And I'm calling on the president as a father of the nation. You see, don't listen to what people are telling you. At times, use your hand, buy a newspaper and read and see what is going on in the country. People are being killed, not just in that Kaduna alone. In every part of the country, these armed groups are having so much courage. They can conduct raids, they can stay in people's house and cook and eat rice without even worrying. Security agencies in some parts of the country are running away from them. Something is wrong. We need to come together across all party lines and forget politics and find a way to bring the country back to the path of security stability. Things are really going bad, and it's not time to be talking about 16 years rule of PDP, talk about citizens should take up arms. All these statements and rhetoric is what's in this situation. We have a problem at hand, and the only way we can deal with that is that the president must show leadership. And those who are in position of authority, especially the principal officers in the parliament, led by Ahmed Lawan and Femi Bajame, who have talked about this. It's not all about singing hallelujah to the president. You have a responsibility as representative of the people. They represent people from all the houses where this problem are getting bad. Speak out the feelings of your people and find a way to hold not just the president to account, those the president have also hired to help him run the country. Hold them to account, leave party politics, because at the end of the day, we are all Nigerians. If these things continues, when they are killing people, they don't come and say, okay, are you a PC member, are you PDP member, are you opposition? They keep on attacking, they keep abducting people left, right, and center. And this bandit, like I told you before, the audacity is so much, they open fire at you. The days are gone when people kidnap people and collect. Now they can just kill you and then bury you somewhere. In every axis, they have their camp all over the country, and it's very bad. I think we should leave politics and then focus the fact that if the president cannot handle this responsibility, then he should step aside and let have a new leadership. We cannot continue to experiment with people's lives. It's time for national action on these particular issues. They should leave all those politics apart, because they were all part of the problem, because everything the president asked for in the parliament, he got. All the approval he needed, even some he did before the approval. So there will be no reason for us to say this is why we failed. We had the money we needed to buy the equipment, the payment was made to the military. So the question now is, why is that we're not getting the desired result from what we have spent billions of dollars on? These questions must be asked, and there must be commitment from the political players at different levels to come together and say, let's find a way to have a country first before we talk about the election.
When you talk about the need for solutions to be made, you mentioned in your two answers earlier that perhaps there should be a shuffle around of the security chiefs. But within the Buhari administration, that shuffle did happen. These are relatively newer security chiefs that we have in power now. So when it comes to real life solutions, what specifically do you think they should look like? Because Kaduna is one thing, but we're facing insecurity across the entire nation, and it's more than just bandits. I actually dislike the word bandits. It's more than just terrorists within the northern parts of the country. We're seeing examples of terror in the southeast, for example. So with you hailing from that area of the country, you're also aware that there are insecurity issues as it pertains to Igbo populations or IPOB and the like. So what would you think would solve an issue like that in the southeast of the country? And do you think that would be able to be mirrored within other parts of the country, including places like Kaduna?
And that's why I said the political willingness and the body language have not been gotten right as it has to do with other parts of the country. For instance, when the issue of IPOB happened, even before IPOB, the issue of armed rebellion or ESN issue came up, the government was so proactive and so fast to classify IPOB as a terrorist group at a time that me and you know they were not, they didn't take up arms. That speed with which the president went after IPOB, one had expected that if it was about genuineness interests of the country, that the president should have used the same speed on issues of Fulani herdsmen, on issues of bandits, on issues of all these armed groups all over the parts of the country, especially the northwest and the northeast. And that is why I said, is it that the president is reluctant because people believe that maybe these people are from his tribe or from his part of the country or whatever, or is it that the president is overwhelmed by this group? But the question now is, if you are conducting military operation over and over in the eastern part of the country, in the southwestern part of the country, how come you are not conducting the same military operation with the same energy? Instead of saying giving marching orders and marching orders, why are you not conducting this operation with the same energy you use against the people in the east and people in the southwest? So I feel that the president must, show the body language that he's intolerant to armed groups or intolerant to criminal activities of this magnitude, because what the bandits and the terrorists and the armed headers have done to the country is times 100 compared to any threat that he feels the people in the east or in the southwest poses to the country. The real threat to the unity of this country are the bandits and the terrorist groups that are operating in northwest and in southeast, that is threatening lives and property. People can no longer go to the farm. Now, these people that can no longer go to the farm is not producing. So inflation will be coming, economic instability, more people are being thrown into hunger. So more criminal activities will continue to increase because people will be struggling now to survive. So all I'm saying is that the president should show a body language that shows zero tolerance and use the same energy he has used in different parts of the country to confront these armed groups that are growing. Because I need to make this point clear. From the available intelligence that we opposition have, these groups are not reducing, they are increasing. Their activities is increasing, their number is increasing. So it will get to a point that it will be a full army unit that you have in that forest, and they have sophisticated weapons. How are they getting this weapon? How are they being brought into that forest? How are they even receiving this ransom? How come they are calling the families, they are receiving payment? Where are they keeping this payment? Is it in the forest? How is it getting into the banking system? This is where I feel not just the president, but all agencies of government should be held responsible for inability to checkmate it. Because if we can be able to track their funding, how they move their money, because they don't keep it in the forest. These monies are running into millions of dollars. How are they buying the weapons? This is where intelligence comes in. This is where regulatory agencies come in. This is where parliament make the necessary inquiry. But these things are not being done because people are scared of speaking truth to power. And as long as we don't speak truth to power, as long as we don't demand for accountability and transparency, then the president will continue to handle it the way he thinks is best. And I can tell you that is not the best for the country.
All right, IKENGA, do you think that in all this, that the governors and those who are supposed to be the principal players in their respective states are distracted? I know that you remember what Governor El-Rufai of Kaduna, who is now calling for mercenaries for the Northwest, you recall what he said when the APC was having internal wranglings regarding the Governor Buni-led caretaker committee, and then Governor Bello of Niger had to come in. What El-Rufai said was that all the governors who were against Buni at that time were prepared to stay in Abuja till the convention, was held. Many others are now declaring either for re-election or to become president. Governor Yaya Bello of Kogi has made his own declaration yesterday. It takes days and weeks of planning. The Minister of Transportation, who ought to be dealing with the effects of this, what has happened in Kaduna, has suddenly declared his own, his intention to run for the presidency too, without even solving the issue of the 3 billion for the equipment that was meant to have protected the thing. So do you think that in all this, and bear in mind that anytime the president is out of the country on health grounds, people move in droves, to go and see him, leaving their bases practically uncovered. So do you think that there's a distraction somewhere? Rather than concentrating on their core duties, people are either politicking or planning for next year's election. Do you think that this is a factor as to why we have our flanks left open? Secondly, I would like you to comment briefly about who you are actually speaking for. When you say coalition of opposition parties, are we talking of the 17 other parties outside of the ruling APC, or those who are not part of the 18 that will take part in next year's general election?
Okay, it's unfortunate that once they enter election season like this, people that are in power because they want to seek re-elections, or the other people that want to take over from them, bring so much discussion to the center. Like I said, it is a universal team, but just that our own is on the extreme, that even 2 years to the election timetable, our political leaders that are in government have started getting involved in re-election issues. It's all about applying moderation, and it's all about the institutions they have in that state holding those governors accountable if they feel they have abandoned their core responsibility of governance, protection of lives and property. And like I said before, governance have been personalized, especially at the state level, where you have governors even before election, stopping institutions of administration like local government system, appointing caretaker, appointing a transition committee, and then refusing to run a local government administration. So governors have been distracted for a long time, even from the last 3-4 years before the election season. And imagine a situation if the president of a country will tell a governor there will be no election, I will appoint a caretaker in your state. People will refuse. Now, why are you not doing the same thing in local government? Erasing the local government administration system brought so much distraction that created a lot of gap, and those gaps has been creating even insecurities at those rural areas. Then at the state level, you find a situation whereby the governors abandon their responsibility, and in order to avoid being asked questions, they pocketed the state House of Assembly. Almost 31 House of Assemblies in the country are under the control of their governor. They don't ask the right questions, they don't question their preparation, they don't seek for answers to issues that has to do with the people they represent. So governance before the election has already been sidelined by people that are in position of authority. Like you said, when the president travels, you have issues of who's actually in charge, where the vice president cannot effectively make some far-reaching decision. So we have to continue to manage this process. Like I said before, the only way out is to have institutions, and once there's institutions that provides room for checks and balances, and any leader stays outside what he's supposed to do, those institutions will hold them to account. And that is why it's so painful that the parliament at the national level and the parliament at the state level have completely be weakened, and the right questions cannot be asked. And talking about the CUPP, initially we were about 55 political parties in the alliance, and when INEC deregistered about 74 of the political parties, our numbers reduced, and some few days ago the Supreme Court agreed with INEC on the deregistration. So painful, and now our number have been reduced. Not all the parties in the 17 today belong to the opposition coalition, but as long as the PDP, which is the dominant and biggest opposition political party in Africa, belongs to the CUPP, with the AA, with the APP, with a lot of them, we still have almost about 8 of them that is in the alliance, and there's more of them that wants to join. We'll be having our meeting to bring in new member after the presidential primary of the PDP. Then you will know our strength, and at all times we have maintained majority among all the registered political parties.
Let's go back to this issue of terror and security in Nigeria. You said that the government shouldn't be accusing the main opposition party of plans to sabotage the Buhari administration, because the politicians in this current administration are the same politicians that ruled during the during PDP 16-year rule. So in essence, are you saying that there's not been any improvement in this current administration as relating to security? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I can tell you that when Obasanjo was there for 8 years, and then a little bit of Yar'Adua, and then a little bit of Jonathan, the security challenges, were well managed by the government. If you remember the OPC crisis, if you're under Obasanjo, if you remember the crisis in Zaki Biam, if you remember the crisis in OD, if you remember different, issues that government faced, the government was able to quell it. I don't want to go into the details of how they quell it, but the issue that it was brought under control. And then when you had all those challenges, even under Jonathan, these things were managed. There was negotiations, there were conversations. And let me tell you one thing, in solving security issues, not just application of strong force all the time. There must be conversation. People must have confidence in what they are doing. People should not have this feeling that maybe you're about to wipe their tribe out, or you're about to protect your own people and open them up to be murdered. So there must be commitment. There must be expression of, you must have that body language to have people buy into what you are doing for them to support you. Because when people believe that you are out to kill them and they take up arms to protect their tribe or their religion, it becomes difficult to talk sense into them. And that's why I said what the security situations we had, even when there was issues in Borno before the election in 2015, you will agree with me that at the end of the day, Jonathan, when the election was adjourned, was able to apply so much energy and force that some of the villages were recovered. An election held in Borno where Buhari had a landslide victory in Borno. So that was the peak of it. But right now, those things that we complain about, that they talk about in the 16 years, those things has happened as if to say they have been in power for the last 40 years. And today, the kind of security challenges you have is not the type we used to have before. Now they can attack airport, now they can bomb train station, now they can go and conduct raid and sit and cook rice and eat and then operate and go home and nothing happens. Now they can murder their victims after collecting ransom. So there's a lot of things that is going on. Apart from the herders, farmers clash that we used to have before, these things have gone to a new level where these bandits and terrorist groups, in groups of 50, 100, raid communities, raid villages, kill men and destroy. So I think that the situation is far, far, far worse right now. But it is not time to keep passing this blame. That's why I keep telling them, stop throwing this stone that way. Because when you talk about 16 years, if you feel the 16 years was so bad that you're doing better, how come you have recruited all the key actors of 16 years? Today, people like Akpabio is the Minister for Niger Delta. Is he not part of the 16 years they keep talking about? Look at all of them that are there today. Almost 15 or 10 of the ministers, they were part of the 16 years. Almost 10 or 15 of their governors are part of the 16 years. So I think they should stop talking about the 16 years because it's so childish. They have the 16 years now. So let them find a way of dealing with this situation because, like I said before, the primary responsibility of government under Section 14 of the Constitution is protection of lives and property. And any government that cannot do that has outlived the essence for which they are in power. And I think the information minister should understand that there's a line between running a government information system and running propaganda like he did in AC, in ACN, in APC. We are no longer in the election and formation stage of APC. This is governance time. And you need to prove that by facts, what people can see. It's not for, okay, let's even assume that, okay, opposition people are trying to undermine the government. Opposition people are behind insecurity. In that case, you have intelligence of the people that are behind the bomb attack at the Kaduna train station. So if you say it's opposition people, how come since the last 1 week or 2 weeks, you're not been able to go and arrest them? So it means that you're incompetent. You cannot even rein in people when they do bad things. So they should stop all this attack and counter attack. It doesn't make any sense. Do your job. If you do your job, people will see it. Everybody's feeling it. How many people can travel on the road today? It's something that you don't need propaganda. Is the opposition people that are in the Kaduna Expressway? Is the opposition people that are in Lokojo, Kene Aziz? Is it Kaduna people that are in the forest in Arondi, around our area that kidnap people and put them inside the bush there and kill some of them at times near Okigwe? It's not opposition people. You know the truth. These are criminal elements and you must deal with crime as crime. Stop pampering them. Like Erufai said, if you need to bomb those forests, you bomb them out of existence. People need to live. People can't continue to be killed and maimed and destroyed and raped as if to say there is no government. This is not Central African Republic. It's not Mugabe's Zimbabwe or Mobutu Seko's Zaire. Actions must be taken, and this is the right time to take action.
All righty. Well, IKENGA, Imo, UGOCHINYERE, thank you very much for joining us on the morning show today. We have run out of time, but thank you for your insight.